Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you for hanging out here with us on Beyond the Velvet Rope. Neil Oates Jr., I am your host, and I have the pleasure, the privilege of hanging out with Miss Razan Mohamed. So you all don't know her, but you will, and you're going to see why I am a fan of this young lady. So Razan, thanks for coming on with me and hanging out with me today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Now, I know you, but for all of the people, who is Razan Mohammed?
I'm a global real estate agent. I'm a mom. Originally from Sudan. Moved to the US 6 years ago. Joined the real estate industry 3 years ago, almost. I'm very, very passionate about what I'm doing. Either like my motherhood, my job. I'm very passionate about both.
Awesome. So here's what I know. So you mentioned moving to the US 6 years ago, being in the real estate game for almost 3 years, right? You said 3 years, and I'm like, girl, you ain't 3 years in yet. And so we're going to, and the reason I highlight that is we're going to talk about some of the things that you've done, what you're doing, what your aspirations are, and people are going to say, like for me, almost 20 years in this thing. The reason I'm a fan of you is I'm like, she's only been doing this for almost 3 years. I've got to up my game because this young lady right here is going to crush it. So here's what I want to just start with. You mentioned that you're from Sudan, right? You've been
Mhm.
here in the US for 6 years. But when we have conversations, I'm hearing all types of accents. And then we know the languages that you're speaking and the education. So I know you're Sudanese, but where has your life taken you before you came here to the US? Whether it's education, where have you lived? Because I think it's important for people to know the entire picture and person that you are.
Yeah. So I'm born and raised in Sudan until the age of 17. Then I moved to London for college for 2 years. I came back to my home country, then lived in Dubai for 1 year, helping my family with business. Then Kuwait for 2 years, Saudi Arabia for 1 year, and then I moved to Iowa in the US. Was Virginia at the beginning. 6 months in Virginia, then Iowa, and then Florida.
Okay, now with all of the places that you've moved, first, here's what I want to ask you. So I know that anything you're involved in, you jump in and you become a student, right? You become a voracious reader, a learner, and then you go into the education, teaching, instructing piece of it because you want to share what you've learned. So with so many moves, right? So many different experiences, so many different cultures. What have you learned from going from place to place, being surrounded by different people? What's one of the biggest things that's jumped out at you, or something that has helped you in your business life journeys? What do you think that is?
So my first move to London, it was tough. I was shocked. It was like a new place, new culture, new people. Everything is different. But when I came back to Sudan, I realized that I can more develop my adaptability. So I work that on my skills more. And now I develop, like, if you put me in any place in the world, I have 1 month to adapt quickly. Get my driver license, find the new address, find my job, find everything. Like when I moved to Iowa, I remember like everybody was like shocked how smooth my move to Iowa was. Like, what, 1 month, I had my license, my daughter was in school, I bought a house. Like everything happened during 1 month.
And so,
So
look, where does that come from? Because I know that it can be shocking, it can be a challenge, whether it's culturally, just environment. But where does the lack of, and I'm not going to say lack of fear, but your willingness to try new things, to go to different places, be in different environments, where does that spirit come from that's in Razan? Is there something that you can tie back to as a child? Is it so your upbringing? Where is it that you say, hey, put me in this place, I'm going to not only survive, but I'm going to thrive? Where did you get that from?
I think from my dad. Yeah, from my dad. He
Now,
used to be
now,
a
now, now, hold on. Don't now. I want you to go into it because you just said from your dad, right? I know, and we've had conversations, but your dad is not just an ordinary fellow, right? He's just not like, oh, I just got it from my dad. Go ahead and tell us why and why you say you got that from your dad.
so he used to be a sea captain. I lived with him in the ship for almost 2 years, and we were traveling from a country to a country. It was a cargo ship, but still have some passengers. Um, like I was just fascinated with the way he handled everything. And when was the time to come back to school, well, like when I was 6 years old, and we had to come back, he couldn't handle like leave us and go sail. So he resigned immediately. And I was shocked, like I was a kid, but now when I remember like how he just made the decision and he started his own business. And after a few years, he went back to college, get his bachelor degree in education and start private school. Like it's completely different like from everything he have done before. So he have I saw him adapt to all the change, like his kids time for school, now it's my time to change my whole career, my whole life. Now let's jump into this business. Now I find opportunity in education. Okay, I'm gonna get education from the beginning. So I was like, I didn't realize that I was watching him until I'm fully grown up. And I was like, oh my God, like he can adapt to everything. He's not only strong, but he's so persistent. And he always told me, don't think of the problem, jump into solution right away. Don't stuck into, oh my God, I have this problem. No, jump right away of how I can fix it right now.
So,
So
so, so, so let me ask you there. So, your dad, being the man he is, and being a solution person, right? Immediately going to solutions, has that helped you? Is it a hindrance? Because I'm sure that having a father who says, "Hey, I'm looking at solutions," I don't think there's probably been many times where you can come and make excuses with him, right?
yeah, yeah. It was tough.
Oh,
Like
oh, you're
especially
laughing about it, but you're probably thinking like, "Oh man, yeah, pops was tough."
yeah. But like especially for me as a female, like I want to time to cry, be kind of emotional sometimes.
And dad's like, hey baby, I love you, but we've
Yeah,
got we've got to go. You've
yeah.
got to move past this, and the feelings are going in. So right there, you talk about being a female, and then being having your dad like, hey, I love you, baby, but we've got to keep moving. Let's transition just a little bit into the whole culture side, and then the whole idea of right? You being a female in real estate, even. And I know that the typical realtor is I believe it's a 60 plus year old Caucasian female, right? That's just what the picture of our traditional real estate agent is as far as our membership as a realtor. What has real estate been like for you navigating this space here in this, what I'm going to call a relatively young career?
It was challenging at the beginning, for sure. It was really challenging, but I didn't know I have this passion for real estate until I get into it. Like the passion of helping people, the passion of finding solutions. Like I was like, our job is finding solutions, and people don't understand. They think, oh, we're a salesperson. No, we're
Mhm.
not. We're relationship people. We're finding solutions for every people want to move, people want to reallocate, want to sell their house for any circumstances. We come with solutions, and I love that. I loved helping people, and it was challenging at the beginning because I'm not from the country here. I'm still young immigrant. 6 years old immigrant. But I had to like put myself and start studying, get my license, and then get my education in place so I can be able to serve my clients better.
Awesome. And so here's what so first, I mentioned I'm a fan of Razan. And so, as a speaker, as a coach, there are things where I think, all right, I'm going to start here. I'm going to get a gig and then we're going to move up. Maybe I'll get noticed. And then one day, if I'm lucky, I'll be on the stage in Dubai. Young lady, you know where we're going with this because I love you, but I hate you at the same time, right? Because you're in this thing, right? And you were like, hey, I think I'm going to start. I think that I'm going to open my horizons. I'm going to expand a little bit. I should probably speak at an event where I feel comfortable. Okay. So somewhere where I can get my feet wet. Where did you feel comfortable for your first speaking engagement, ma'am?
Dubai.
And so here's why we laugh, and I know that we've had this conversation, right? So what is normal for one person can be totally different for another, right? And
Yeah.
so so why did you feel so comfortable saying, "Oh, let me go to Dubai, let me speak in Dubai as opposed to in the United States." So would you just share with our viewers and listeners what it was about that environment, about that stage, that platform that made you comfortable?
So I told you I lived 1 year before in Dubai, and I also lived in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and visit all the region, the Gulf region. So I'm very, very familiar with the culture. I'm also speaking, I speak Arabic, so I'm familiar with the language. And I felt like I have my family now living there, and I visit 2, 3 times a year. So I felt like, you know what, that's gonna be easy. Like going, I'm not, I'm not gonna having the same fear I have here in the U.S. Like it's not gonna be the same.
And that's crazy, right? Because we hear, like, for me to hear you say that, and that was one of the things that I love. And you're like, hey, I did this, and I felt at home. I felt like this was my space where I was supposed to be. And it's wild because even from that, other opportunities came where people are trying to work up to, right? Because
Yeah.
you also went to another country, right? And had some opportunities there. So just tell me about that experience when you were over in another country.
Oh, Nigeria.
Let's go. Come on.
Oh my God, was my favorite conference. Honestly, it was unbelievable experience, amazing, unforgettable experience. So
And no, so go ahead. So part of this, so I know that Nigeria, because when you mentioned, you're like, ooh, that one meant something different to you. Why did Nigeria mean so much to you? First, you were just going there. You were supposed to be under the radar, and some big things have happened. But why is it so important for Nigeria?
I like that they are trying to achieve things that I can't achieve right now for my country. And Sudan is in Africa, so like being African, seeing other African countries achieving big steps in these industries, that made me feel so proud. Like make me feel like I really wish if I can do this to my country. But at the same time, since I cannot do it right now, why not help people that doing it for their countries, like Nigeria? Like why not be involved and witness their success for them? Like,
So
yeah.
now you say witness, but you are not just witnessing, you are playing a part in the success, right? And so here's something that first, you're way too humble, right? I know you. I know what you've done, what you're doing. So with your humility and people not knowing who you are, and you going in and being a student and making sure that you're there to serve people and to help people get better. Some opportunities have come from that. And so you're just going in, having conversations, asking the right questions, getting invited into other things, other opportunities. So what's next for you and Nigeria?
Probably next year. I think you're gonna be there too.
From girl, come on. Hey, I want to be there with you, right? And so here's what I know. So I know we've been talking about just the real estate side of things and business, but I want to segue quickly because one of the first things that I asked was, "Who is Razan?" And you said, "Hey, I'm this, but I am mom." What is it like being mom, being an immigrant? Oh, and I want you to tell me why, or share with the viewers and listeners the story of where your daughter said, "Hey, I want to be like you," and how that inspired you to go big. So, what is it like being mom? What does that mean to you?
It's actually motivates me a lot. Like I got this question a lot about what motivates you, what keep you going stops. And for me is my kids. Like I really want to set an example. I really want to set for them someone to look up to. I want to not tell them about like hard work and helping people. I want to show them. I want them to see what is it like to experience it. So my daughter, oh my God, she's so smart, and she always like she kept me on the edge all the time. She One of the things that she told me before, I was a residential agent doing only residential, and I always used to take her to open houses, take her to new construction when we go see new construction, and she was having fun. And one day we were walking in downtown Orlando, and she was like looking at the tall towers and buildings, and she was like, "Mom, oh my God, look at this building." And she was like, "You know why we're not rich?" Told her why. She said, "Because you sell small homes."
Hey, you're gonna be like, "Girl, you, oh, okay, you got it, okay."
And she was like, "Do you see this building? Sell this building." And I was shocked. I was like, "You know what? She's right."
And so on that, and we're gonna talk about your big whiteboard in a moment, right?
Yeah,
And so
it's right there.
so look, it's right there in front of me, and you're looking at you like, oh man, that thing there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
from the mouth of our babies, right? From the whole idea where they are so unfiltered, but sharing, not in judgment. And she's like, "Hey, mom, you want to know why we are where we are? Cause you selling this. I want you to sell that up there." And you're like, "Ha ha ha." Oh, she's right.
Yeah.
So the whiteboard that you were looking at, ma'am, go ahead and tell me the significance of that whiteboard that's in your office at the house, and why, and what that has done for you in your daily business.
So I sit here for long hours, like handling my business, do cold calling, meetings, Zoom meetings with clients from international clients. So when I feel tired, when I feel bored, or I don't want to do this today, I'm not in the mood, I look up to this board. It's a big whiteboard, and all is written in this board is two sentences. The first one: my kid's future is more important than my biggest fears. When I look at this sentence, I immediately sit down, continue what I was doing. And the other thing, when I get distracted, like sometimes you get distracted, whatever, I look to the other sentence. Is what I'm doing today bring me closer to where I want to be tomorrow? So these two sentences motivates me, and it's actually not only motivates me but discipline. give me some discipline.
So I want to go to that first statement that your kids' futures are big are more important than your biggest fears. What are, if you're willing to share, what are your biggest fears? Or do you have many?
Living abroad from my family the rest of my life. I want them to be with me, or I want to be with them, because like I've already spent 6 years of my life here in the US, and I love my family. I love my dad, my mom, my brothers and sisters, and I enjoy being around them. And I really don't like being away, but I understand for this stage of my life, I have it has to be like this.
But now here's what I know. I know that you are building something that is beautiful, right? This future that you're building so that you can do everything, and so that fear or so that reality is altered, right? So that you can go where you want, as long as you want, with who you want, whenever you want. So I know that's going to be something that's coming up very, very soon. Now I do have a couple of questions. First of all, I want to thank you for spending this time, for sharing. But a question that I have for you: you mentioned that you started in residential. Now I know that you are in the commercial space, right?
Hmm.
And
I
you
still do residential.
right. So
Yeah.
so, but here's my thing: that switch from mommy, you selling this, sell this, right? What was or what is the biggest difference, or has there been something that you've had to intentionally consider or do to transition or to grow into the commercial space?
Education, and I'm starting my education. I did some few courses in commercial, and I will keep doing more education because I need to get my CCIM. But the transition, I think, connecting with people, like I finding mentorship, finding people who have done this before, get some advices from them, talking to clients, see what they need in the commercial. And I was talking to clients in Dubai about the commercial, and things change dramatically, you know?
And we hey, say no more, right?
Yes.
Because things change. And so I know that you are a relational person, and you talk about relationships. How important are relationships to Razan? How important when you think about life and business and personal, just totally. What do relationships mean to you?
It means a lot. It means a lot. Really, we are in the business of relationship, literally. Like you cannot grow if you don't have the right people beside you, the right colleague around you, the mentorship, clients, relation. And I enjoy it. Like I'm a people person. It's not like I'm obligated to have this relation. No, I enjoy, and I enjoy having meaningful conversation with people because it gives me a different perspective of life. I can see life from a complete different angle that what I used to see life from. And literally, like I really, really enjoy it. And um, maybe that's what make me more passionate in real estate.
But because you're going to need to be passionate, and you're going to have to remember why we're doing this thing, because some days are not all sunshine and rainbow. So let me ask you, how do you deal with the frustrations and the challenges, the heartaches, the heartbreaks, the headaches of this thing? What keeps you from saying, you know what, I'm done, I quit, I'm throwing in the towel?
I get this idea every single day.
Wait, stop right there. Because this is what people don't understand. We can be doing very, very well, and one little snag happened, and we're like, I'm done. I don't need this headache. So you say that you get this idea, this feeling, this thought every day. Almost 20 years in, I think the same thing, and I'm like, man, it's not worth it. So
Yeah.
first, what keeps you from acting on that? Y'all can have this. I'm done with all of y'all.
So, dealing with frustration and hard time, I learned this. I can't really remember the exact moment, but throughout my life, I learned everything is temporary. Everything shall pass.
This too shall pass. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. So every time I'm struggling, I'm frustrated. You know what? Let's wait. It's gonna pass. Let's find solution until it pass. And this is always keep me looking forward for tomorrow. Like this always keep me having high hopes, believing it's like now even when I have a hard time. I have one of my brothers. He said to me, "Oh, you look like you don't care." I was like, "No, but I believe this is will pass. This is gonna be history. This is gonna be stories. So why I should stuck and be just in the moment? Let's find solution. Let's think how I can fix it and move on."
Good stuff. All right. Now, I know you mentioned your siblings. Who is the do you have a favorite sibling? Do you have a favorite that
You know what? I have a favorite in different aspect. Like I have a favorite to travel with. I have favorite to go out with. I have favorite to do business with.
Okay, and now do they know which ones they are or not?
No, they don't.
Okay,
That's
so
secret.
breaking news. Are you going to share that with us right now or not? Or is that
No,
going
no,
with
no,
me?
no, no.
Okay. So now, here's what I always ask. I know that, like, I tell everyone, I am my parents' favorite son, right? I'm like, I have two brothers. I'm the favorite 1000%. Who is the favorite child in the family? Is there a favorite child, one that just gets treated like royalty?
Me
You're supposed to say that.
gonna
Do,
say that. Yeah.
do,
It's actually depends. In my dad, me. Yeah, in my dad's side, definitely it's me. But mom love her boys.
hey, mama love her boys, and her boys love mama, don't they?
Yes.
Okay, now a question I have for you. How many children do you have, Razan?
Two.
Now here's my question. You have a favorite. Don't answer it. Don't look, don't answer it because one day they're gonna watch this and they're gonna be like, Mama, we saw you, you thought about it, and you supposed to say no, right?
No.
So
Yeah. Really, no. I thought about it because no. Like I like Telin in different aspect. I like Aladdin in different aspect. So they are equal for me.
okay.
Yeah.
That's a very
Yeah.
political answer. That's a good answer. All
No,
right.
that's the real answer.
Okay, so final thing that I want to know from you, and first of all, once again, thank you for sharing, for taking time, and I can't wait to see where you're going and what you're doing. But we have just entered. Today is the first day of the fourth quarter, right? So
Mhm.
when we look at 2024 and then we go into 2025, what does it mean? How will you know that your year, whether we're looking at the next 3 months or the next 12 months, how will we know that it's been a successful year for Razan Mohammed?
There is a lot going. You have to see the other board here.
So you got one to keep you straight, right? Like these are this board right here is for me to keep my focus, my discipline, to stay locked in and engaged. There's another board over here where you're like, oh yeah, we got a lot. We got to get all this stuff
Yes,
checked.
there is a vision, there is goals, there is education. So I have a lot here.
Okay, so on that, let's just segue really quickly. How do you decide what's most important? Well, if you because one challenge of a striver, of someone who's looking to achieve that A type personality, how do you make sure that you are not giving too much to the business and not enough for you as mom, sister, daughter, right, friend? So how are you juggling that? How do you decide?
It's hard. It's been very challenging. But you know what? I decided to make my kids involved now. I start telling them, listen, this is my goals. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. so they be understanding when I travel for a conference, why I'm doing this, why I have to be there. And now, like now, Telly keep me up to my deals. Like she even know my deals, my clients. She asked me, "Did you close that deal yet? Did it happen?" And also, I've applied for a position in NAR, and I told them about it. I told them why I want to serve and why I want to volunteer and do all that stuff. So it's really hard to balance. But what I do is when I'm there, I'll be 100% there, like attending after school activities, going to their meetings in school, going to volunteer for field trips. I volunteer for every field trip in my kids' school. So that keep me not feeling guilty when I have to go, when I have to be absent.
Talking about having to be absent in business, and I know that your business requires you to travel, and a lot of it might be traveling abroad for different conferences, different events, meeting with clients and customers, prospects. But there is something that you do that when the kids are traveling with you, that you're saying, okay, you're blocking out that time for
Yeah.
mommy to work. But then, so when you're working, you're 100% there, but then you're also making sure that you're putting that vacation time, that time to have different resort visits or spend time with family in there as well. Is that correct?
Yeah. So our last visit, it was Dubai with the kids, and I have my family living there. So I didn't tell them that I'm gonna go. I didn't want to disappoint them from the beginning. So it was like, hey, we're gonna go to vacation. We're going to Dubai, and we start packing. I hide my suitcase so they don't see what I'm packing. And when we arrived there, I opened my suitcase, and my daughter was like, "What? You bringing suits?"
Like, this is though that's not vacation gear, mama. You ain't got no shorts or nothing. You got suits on top because you had to lay that, like, make sure that when I open it up that it's pressed, right?
Yeah,
And so that's absolutely amazing. But the kids also know that when mommy is off, that she's going to be fun, that we're going to be engaging, and that you're
yeah.
going to be locked in with them, right?
Yeah. So we stayed there for 3 weeks. The first 3 days was just relaxing with my family. We stayed there. And then we had the conference for 3 days. So I had to be in the conference for the whole 3 days. And then the rest of the vacation was one day working, one day fun. Because I had so many clients that I want to meet there, entities, people from the government. I had a lot of like networking events happening. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be one day with them the whole day. Like we go out from the morning, visit different sites, landmarks in Dubai. And then the next day I'll be fully working.
Okay. So now here's my last. I know I said I've got one more question like seven times. But as someone who's new in this industry, when I say new, where you haven't, you almost at 3 years.
Yeah.
So what do you equate your, or what do you credit your success to? And I know you're like success. I'm just getting my feet wet. I'm just getting
Yeah.
started. What would you say has made the biggest difference in being good and getting results versus not being good, being a nobody, and having to not renew your license?
I think relationship have the right connection in the industry
Now
still.
stop. So you
Still.
mentioned relationships at least 10 times.
Yes.
Relationships for you and your business are that big of a deal.
Huh?
I said so relationships are that important to you in this thing that you're doing called real estate.
Yeah, of course. It's all about relationship. It's all about knowing the right people and being in the right place as well. For me, like I got my license, and 3 months later, I heard about the Global Council, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I should be there. I should. I'm global." So I went and I attend a gala night, and with I was literally 3 months having my license for 3 months or less. Yeah. So I went, I attended the gala, and I was so happy that I felt I belong. This is my place. Like everybody have an accent. Everybody's not from here. Everybody. This is my family.
So on that, how important is it to feel like you belong to something? Where I know that, for instance, I know when you're in Iowa, they're not like, "Oh, you're from here." You're like, "Nah." You could tell from my accent, from my tan,
Yeah.
that I am not from here. So how important is it to feel like you belong when it comes to getting some confidence in this new environment that you're in?
Yeah, it's very, very important. And it's not only the accent and the color, or it's the mentality. It's how people think, how people how what is the mindset, how they operate. And in the global council, or the CIPS as well, the Certified International Property Specialist community, you see people think like I think globally, think you can do business everywhere. You can have clients from every country. You can travel, you can attend conferences, learn more about other markets. So I love that. I love that the people have the same mindset as what I'm thinking about in the industry.
Good stuff. So here's what we're going to do, because I know that people are going to watch this, they're going to have questions, but I also know that I have already exceeded my time period and I do not want you to send me an invoice, right? So we're going to end this because I know your rate and I cannot afford to pay your rate. And so just look, you laughing. We had this conversation.
Yes.
Don't bill me. Do not bill me, because I will hate for our friendship. I'll be like, listen, I don't have it. I could put something on it. I got like 15 bucks. So Razan, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for the conversation. I know that it's going to be beneficial and inspiring to so many people who watch, who listen. And I want to encourage you, just keep doing what you're doing. I am blessed to be affiliated with you, to call you a friend. I cannot wait to see what is just around the corner. And I'm looking forward to maybe doing some things outside of the country, abroad with you. So thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you invite me for this. And I value your friendship, and I also value your guidance in some aspect.
Hey, don't be telling people that you know me, because you might have some warrants out for your arrest after that. Don't do that.
No, for real. But thank you
So
so
it
much.
It has been an absolute pleasure. We'll connect very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you that I love you, God loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it. And until the next time I see you or you see me, don't be average, be world renowned. Peace. Thank you so much, ma'am. That was good stuff.
Oh, it's over?
It's over.